Hello, everybody. It's Mr. Strength, and I'm here to walk you through using Blackboard. And I'm doing this because there are some resources that you really need to check out. Okay. And also some assignments you're going to need to take care of. So let's jump over to my screen. Just ignore which class this is. That's not the important part. Most of the classes have all the same resources. So once you get into your course content in Blackboard, you'll see here instructor contact information. We actually do have, our information. So office hours, y'all, if you come by the office and I'm busy or Coach Beasley's busy, we're busy. So please try to book an appointment with us. It just makes it easier to organize things. Plus, if we have a meeting scheduled, it won't let you book during that time frame, and that keeps you from, coming in accidentally and trying to talk to us when we're in the middle of a meeting and whatnot. So this does have my contact information, easiest way to get a hold to me. There is the cafe chat. I've had students come in here and kind of chit chat about things. As you can see, someone did one. It's a great place for you guys to connect, share information, share experiences. Then we're going to go to the start here first. This is where you need to go first. So in here, you're going to have, you actually don't need the syllabus course guide. I don't really have textbooks, just saying. But there are course policies and procedures, and I do need to make sure you guys read that. But the most important thing, like of the two things, is this, the course participation assignment. If then you do not do the no-show assignment, you will be removed from the class, and I will not let you back in, okay? You need to actually take care of this. And then there's also the work ethic discussion. This is required. All right. So if you don't do these first two and you're removed from my class, you will need to wait till next semester. Why would I do that? If you can't follow directions, then you're going to struggle inside this class and all of my classes and Coach Beasley's classes and any class really. So let's make sure that we get this taken care of and handled. Okay. Then we have a, oops, clicking on the wrong stuff here. All right, so then we have resources for students. Just ignore this video. Resources for students, that's actually really important. Click here for proctoring resources. Our final exam is actually lockdown browser, so please be aware of that. Here's some supporting resources, college resource links. I'm going over these just for the basics of it. Naming and turning in your files. This will also be on every assignment. It will tell you exactly what you need to do in terms of turning in your assignment. This is not what you're going to do for your assignment. This is telling you how to turn it in. So make sure that you put your first initial, last name, put an underscore, and then put whatever module it is, like trace that logo or the history of advertising. It'll tell you how to do that, but make sure you're doing that, please. We actually introduced a new presentation, and y'all really do need to go over this. This is called Using AI as a Tool, not a crutch. And of course, it's not loading up right now. But there is a presentation that you do need to go over for that. Coach Beasley and I put it together. It actually tells you about using AI, how you can use it to help you cross the finish line. Just understand that it's not going to do the work for you. If you turn in any AI generated imagery, I will fail you that assignment. You will fail in that assignment. There's other resources, and while I can understand that you want to use AI, I don't want you to use it as a shortcut, okay? There is a graphic design resources. This has, information like copyright for designers. Y'all need to know this, how mood boards work, steps for reviewing artwork, analyzing artwork. Um, we also have Adobe Illustrator tutorial, and then there's constructive criticism. And there's a difference between criticism and constructive criticism and critique. So critique and constructive criticism is I say, this doesn't really look good or doesn't vibe with me, but like tell me what you don't like and tell me what you do like. So those are really key things to keep in mind. We do have the tutorial for beginners, and this is the vector class. You can find these files if you're in another class and you forgot some of your Illustrator skills. It's hard because you do lose it if you don't use it. So it's good to keep using it. And then free vector files. This was actually a video I put together just to showcase some resources where we get free files that are for vector that you can absolutely use while you're in school. And specifically, we do use them as professionals as well. Of course, the internet here is super slow, but at least in my office it is. But keeping in mind that there are some places you literally don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can go download some vector wheels, okay? There is a section called Meet Your Instructor. It's a video. It introduces myself. And every instructor has these. There's a quick navigating Blackboard. Guess what? That's what this video is, right? And then there's an introduction to the class. In this case, this is the vector class. So if you're in advertising, if you're in page layout, if you're in print production, or any of the other classes, DMP to 1000, there's going to be an introduction where we kind of talk about it a little bit. And then you'll have all your modules. When you go into your modules, there'll be an objective, there'll be and this is probably a bad one. Let's just go down to the poster. So there'll be objective, there'll be an assignment, which is basically a lesson. It'll walk you through, either give you information, or that actually does have your assignment inside of it. It will tell you what that is. Let's see if the internet sped up. It did. And so for this assignment, for whatever reason, this is the typographic contrast. But down here, it actually tells you everything you need to do. So I don't put your assignment information in the actual place where you turn it in. So just keep that in mind. There'll also be a follow along video. So it's basically a video of me walking you through that lesson and explaining things. It's good for anyone who doesn't come in, who prefers to do stuff remote or online. This gives you the ability, like I'm giving you a lecture. You still will miss out on some things because if I'm doing an actual lecture in class, there may be questions that somebody asks, or I may think of something just randomly to bring up. But at least this way, you get more information than if I just gave you the PowerPoint. So I do recommend going over those. And then you'll have sketches. Yes, you have to turn in sketches. In the real world, you do use sketches. You might get an idea somewhere. So we do encourage you and demand, if you will, that you do sketches as an assignment. And then you'll actually have where your assignment gets turned in. And so as you can see here, it basically just tells you how you're supposed to label it and then turn it in. Okay, and then you'll see here that there is a quiz. These quizzes are actually not important. You have to pass them to move on to the next module. We do that on purpose, but the impact of the grade is not great. This is actually the least amount of your grading overall. There is, in fact, actually, once we get to the end of the semester, you will have a class review and a test review, and then you'll have your final exam. And again, the final exam, it doesn't have a lot of weight on it. We're more concerned about your projects, okay? Now, if something tells you that it has a deadline or a due date, so here you can see topographic contrast. This one, it has a due date by midnight. You have to turn it in before then, okay? So make sure you're turning that in. But that's how you navigate around Blackboard, and that will help you guys being able to get the information and be prepared for the semester, okay? If you have any questions, you have any concerns, you need any help with anything, please make sure that you reach out to us, book an appointment, shoot an email. You can call our office lines, but if we're busy with a class or with someone else, or maybe we're not in the office that day, that may not be the best way to get a hold of us. So email and booking an appointment is. I hope you guys got a lot out of this, and I will see you in the classroom.